Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Jake with PackMan Sports on a video that I've been wanting to share for quite some time but haven't had the time to do so. But this video here is something that should probably should have been brought to everybody's attention a while back. And these are some things that are crucial in determining how the Packers make up and how they can get things back on track. And right now I have to say this upcoming Sunday, this game is crucial against the Detroit Lions. And I believe that this game very well could determine the season here. So what I want to be able to do with this video is point out ways that the Packers can win football games in 2022. But I would also like to backtrack to last year and point out ways that the Packers were able to win in 2021. And then how you can take the ways that you're able to win in 2021 and apply it to this season, because I fully believe that this team is absolutely fully capable of winning football games. This entire team's roster is not that much different than last year's roster, save for minus Davante Adams, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and a few pieces on defense. So I can't fathom that this team can really be this poor, because this is really almost essentially the same defense from last season. I know that the offense is not the same at all, because given the uncertainty at wide receiver right now at this juncture, with Davante Adams obviously being the big name that everyone in the NFL sports world knows. Also, there's Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who also left in free agency. He's with the Kansas City Chiefs and signed a one-year deal with them. So that has left a big mark as well on the Packers' offensive side of the ball, is missing the Aaron to Davante connection as well as the Aaron to Marquez connection. But the Packers still have some pieces on offense to be able to work with in 2022, and the Packers can win with a certain combination of these things in 2022 to be able to win football games on both offense and defense. Before I get to ways that the Packers can win in 2022, I'd like to backtrack to last year and kind of give you a side-by-side comparison of what the Packers were able to do last season and see how the Packers can do it and try to mitigate some of the losses of what the Packers can't do this season. Here are the ways that the Packers were able to win in 2021. The first and obvious one was the Aaron to Davante connection. Aaron had to look Davante's way a lot because he was one of the few guys that was really able to consistently get open and catch passes. So that connection was very vital for last year's offense. And then there was running the football with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, consistent blocking, not turning the ball over. The Packers were first in that category, creating turnovers on defense, stopping the pass, and tackling. The Packers were the second highest graded in tackling for last year's defense, and there were a lot of people that were just really playing really well, and they were able to tackle very well, one of them namely being Devondre Campbell, as well as several other key players that were also tackling very well on last year's defense. So those are the ways that the Packers were able to win in 2021. I know that maybe in some cases the running game wasn't working out in one game where the Aaron and Davante connection had to be top-notch. Maybe in some games the blocking wasn't consistent. And in the case of the defense, the Packers were, at this juncture, probably pretty decent against the pass, but not ranked second in pass defense as of Week 8, which is what we're facing right now for the Packers. Is that the Packers are currently second right now in passing yards allowed, but the Packers were pretty effective at stopping the pass last season, and were able to do a pretty good job in that department. Creating turnovers, that is another thing that was very crucial in last year's defense. The Packers were able to really force turnovers last season, namely interceptions, a lot of those coming from Rasul Douglas. And that is something that the Packers are not doing right now, is creating turnovers and tackling on defense. And for the offensive side of the ball, obviously the Aaron to Davante connection is very much absent, as we know that. And not turning the ball over. Unfortunately, the Packers have been turning the ball over too much, as the turnovers have mostly come from fumbles. And Aaron has thrown some more interceptions than he has in recent years, in which that's something that has been a big problem so far, is that the fact that Aaron has thrown some interceptions, a little bit more interceptions than he has in past seasons. That's something that can always be corrected in time, and definitely cutting down on those mistakes would very much bode very well for the Packers being able to get back on track on offense. It starts with running the football, consistent blocking, and not turning the ball over. And now here are ways that the Packers can win in 2022. Running the ball, especially in the red zone, consistent blocking, not turning the ball over, creating turnovers, stopping the pass, and tackling better. Now I'd like to backtrack and go back to running the football. We know that running the football is very crucial for this offense this season, as the passing game has needed to take a step back, because we know that we don't have the Aaron to Devontae connection anymore, which was very, very crucial in last year's offense. So I think this makes it even more apparent that the Packers have to run the football this season in order to make up for it. And the passing game just isn't going to be what it was from last season. Of course, I believe that the Packers can throw the football. It's just that receivers have to be able to get open. And right now we don't have the guy that can separate consistently, especially in man coverage. That guy right now is currently missing. That veteran, trustworthy receiver that we had last year with Devontae is not here anymore. Even to some extent, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Right now, probably the most trustworthy veteran that can get open is probably Randall Cobb. Unfortunately, he's injured. But back to the running game. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are very, very crucial in this offense more than ever. And one thing that I caught is very alarming is that the Packers have been very, very reluctant whenever they have gotten into the red zone, is that they don't run the football in the red zone. And that has been something that, for some odd reason, I have no clue why. I know that the Packers have been in the red zone a few times and have been able to get down there, but whenever they are, they're not running the football. In which case, that is a really, really big, crucial factor. And I think how the Packers can score more points on offense is that once you get into the red zone, try to run the football in, make it easy on yourselves. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon have a combined 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 each. And that's just incredible to me, is that when the Packers are down in the red zone, they're simply not running the football. And I know that teams are going to expect that, but you should be able to at least try to run the football. Once you get down into the red zone, run the football. I know that you have 2 capable running backs that are able to sniff out the end zone. So I don't see why the Packers shouldn't run the football in the red zone. And now to consistent blocking. Of course, this has been a little bit of an issue for the Packers this season, is consistent blocking. It has been inconsistent in both the pass and the run blocking. But I know that whenever the Packers can block well, it really bodes well for both the passing game and the running game. And I know that this offensive line is fully capable of doing both. And then for not turning the ball over, this has been a problem for the Packers. Right now, the Packers have turned the ball over too much. A lot of this has been coming from fumbles, and Aaron has turned the ball over probably a little bit more than we expect. But I think that Aaron is trying to compensate for the lack of pass catchers being able to consistently get open, so he might be forcing things a little bit more this season than he has in past seasons. And then back to the defense creating turnovers. This defense has not done a good job at all in forcing turnovers like they did last year. A lot of those have been coming from interceptions. And then tackling better. The Packers, for some odd reason, with the same group of guys, the tackling has been worse. And I'm not entirely sure what has been going on with the tackling. Even some of your key guys that have been really known to be good tacklers are missing tackles. One of them most notably being Devondre Campbell. And oddly enough, that this defense will have to be able to tackle better in order to be able to get this defense back on track to be able to stop teams from scoring as many points as they do, and to be able to get this team back to winning ways. And all of these things will have to get going. The team will have to get back on track. starting this Sunday against the Detroit Lions in order to be able to have a chance to be able to salvage the season and to be able to make a run for the playoffs. So that is what I have for this video. I'll catch you guys later for another one sometime in the near future. And as always, go Pack Go.